All right. Here we are with Energy Cultivation, live with Sifu Amin Jani. Hey, Sifu.
Hello.
And Scott Norman. What's
Hey
up, Scott?
guys, how's it going?
And of course, you got me here, Coach Reza. All right. Scott, we got some great questions today that we want to address. And I wanted to see if Sifu Amin Jani could give his perspective. Do you want to go ahead and take it away?
Yeah, so I think today we're going to talk about virtues, um, and how that affects life and, you know, what virtues are, what anti-virtues are, and how that relates to life. Um, I mean, what do you consider to be the most important human virtues that we have today?
Most important human virtues that we have today. Well, I don't know if I actually want to answer that question honestly or directly. This might not be appropriate to even talk about that because it's so simple. Let me think here. Let's see. The way people see virtue, they don't see it as virtue today. They don't see it as virtue. Virtue is not something that's thought about in the ordinary mind, people. What people do have is an underlying belief of what they would think is the highest virtue. Let's start there. Is that give and take, and everyone in general in society has been we see it. It's been taught and shown, and we all tend to do it. Is if I give something, I should get something, and if I vice versa. If I get something, I should give back. So there's always this trade, give and take. What is it? Tit for tat. And
Hmm.
right now, if you wanted to talk to the most of the ordinary people out there, that they would agree that's the highest virtue to practice is give and take. Uh,
Commerce.
unfortunately, unfortunately, that comes with like a lot of let's say, making people wonder why they get into fights and with relationships. And so instead of what is the highest virtue, I like to say that what the people think is the highest is actually one of the lowest. It's not even a virtue, but it's just a form of morality. And virtues and morality are, morals as well are a totally different thing than, virtuosity.
So I was just thinking about this for a second, and I think you might have misunderstood me, but what do you consider to be the most important virtue?
It won't be in the list of virtues, but it comes down to self-preservation in the most primal way possible, which means one has to be 100% responsible for themselves, physically, mentally, emotionally, and with their actions and deeds.
So that boils down to responsibility being the greatest virtue in your opinion.
The right kind of responsibility to yourself in this kind of primal way, yes. Like that means literally taking care of your body. It comes before everything else in the world,
So
you
caring
know.
for your temporal is the highest virtue. That
Correct.
responsibility is the
Yes.
highest virtue.
That
So
is the
after that, what would you consider the next most important virtue?
well, unconditional love. Because from that, it works with all of our, well, in our temple, like the pillars of our temple, which would be compassion and understanding, kindness, and you know, well, that basically those are like main pillars there. So yeah, you need to just start with unconditional love for the other pillars to even be available, and they're the ones that hold the temple up, let's say in a structural way, energetic form type of way.
So, from your perspective, responsibility and love are the two most important virtues for a person to strive to.
There's got to be unconditional love, not
Right, right. We'll get to that a little bit later as we start talking about other things. But
okay.
um, now there are other virtues that people, talk about and speak about. You know, there's like chastity and like benevolence, and there's a ton of virtues that you can go through. But these two are the two that you think are the most important and what people lack the most in their lives.
Yeah, that's correct. Because even chastity and benevolence falls under, like I said, the first one, taking care of your temple, and then after that,
Mm.
what? Unconditional love. So that's how you, like chastity, taking care of your temple, and then
Benevolence.
unconditional love, benevolence. Yeah, you see.
Right. So you think that most, if not all, virtues stem from these two major virtues.
Sure. Let's
Okay.
stack it like that. Let's make it
Now,
easy.
That's pretty helpful.
what what is which of these virtues would you say is more important for a meaningful life?
For a meaningful life, this is a difficult question. A meaningful life could be a double-edged sword, that question. Because one, is it a meaning life for yourself or is it a meaning life for the world?
Who are
So,
you living for?
yes, who are you living for? What are you living for? Is something that matters when answering a question like that because that takes self-analysis. The person has to know what they want and where they're going before they can get there. And
Mhm.
if someone wants to do for themselves, then it's like what we were talking about before. If they want to do for the world, that also helps because you're doing that for the world. It's actually the higher route is better. But if you're saying more practical in the way that people are here, they just need unconditional love. They don't need to even care about their temple so much. They just need to unconditional love. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
think I agree with that. That love is the top of that pyramid for happiness index. Um, so how do you think we can develop things like responsibility, love, and other virtues? There's lots of people who will try and
Well,
kind of
not to
like force
interrupt, not to
things, but
interrupt, not to interrupt. That word right there you use, responsibility, that's the answer to this question.
To the development question. How to?
Yeah, sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off there. My bad. But you like literally said responsibility. How do we develop responsibility? Well, you don't really develop responsibility. You either are or you're not.
Mm.
And that's all
this
there
would
is
come
to it.
back to choice then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
free will.
So there's a lot of people that, you know, virtue signal or practice virtues just for the optics of it. What's the difference between practicing virtues for people to see rather than practicing quietly for yourself?
Well, what people don't really think about is that okay, first of all, we're using the word virtue here as our main like reference of the subject we're talking about. But what is the opposite of virtue?
It would be anti-virtue or sin, correct?
Yeah, or in more of the
Or
Buddhist and Taoist they call it, or Hindu they call it karma.
Sure.
But the modern day use of karma is not the same as the old way of saying it, because Karma, good
Mhm.
karma, bad karma. There's no such thing as good karma. And karma is not even bad itself. It is a mechanism, so to speak. It's like anything else in this universe. So, say karma versus virtue. I'm saying sin versus being a sinner versus being a saint. Okay, but what defines the difference of that is always the actions. So it really comes down if people want to go for saying what is actually virtuous thing is right action, right mind, right heart, just right actions, doing the right thing. Uh, that's hard for people to decipher in a world that because every action you take, there is a reaction, right? So, and this is what kind of like the karma mechanism works. So sometimes what people think they're doing is good is not necessarily good. And sometimes what they think other people are doing bad is not necessarily bad. Now, bad is can be bad and ugly, you say, or good is good and beautiful, but not literally. It's not always like this, so plain and transparent. Just uh, it's a lot of what people have in beliefs and what they think they need to seek to gain in moving in this world. So they think they might be doing something good, and maybe not. Uh, so because the more we actually do try to take actions and they're not purposefully or really decided, we're not also sure of the consequences. So the reaction, we think we just take an action and then expect things to go good, like a good reaction, but you don't know always what the reaction is. Especially if you didn't think through or do through in the right way to do the right action on a level that was not anything to do with the way we were taught in society about gain and loss. So everyone's still stuck on this gain and loss kind of mentality. So for them, every action they take, there comes with this karma. So everything they think they're doing is virtuous ends up adding more karma to them. A lot of the time, most majority. This is like ordinary level of society. And the hard part is to refrain from doing these. That's where responsibility comes in too. Like if you really want to be responsible, so you'll refrain from doing a lot of these unnecessary things that you think are good to go do and pursue. You know,
How
and
how are can you give an example of how people are getting this karma when they think they're doing something virtuous?
oh shoot, there's thousands of ways from small to big.
Can
I mean,
you give just a simple plain, like one plain one that's easy to see for the viewers?
okay, let's say that uh, seeking to. Well, how about this? Seeking. Period. Seeking. 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 Oh, always is making a person go from here to there to there to there to there to there, there and there and there and there. So that they're never really experiencing life as life is and its beautiful state that it really is and how it works.
Hmm.
Nothing is
So
ever good enough.
they're seeking, chasing, yet they're constantly trying to be content from something, but it's nothing's ever good enough. So, say they're chasing a good feeling or relaxation, they're traveling the world, but then they end up eventually right back in the same place and oh, they've aged, or oh, now their health is suffering. Like, is that what you mean? Like they think they're doing all these good things, but then later they come back to haunt them.
That is, yeah, that sums it up pretty generalistically in a way, so to speak.
I was looking for something general. Okay.
Another way you might put it is, excuse me, is like if a person were to do something specifically for the purposes of influence or optics or, any reason other than their own desire for whatever it is, a common good, this or that, without any other motivation. There is no look to gain anything, simply to help. Those are the two distinctions. Somebody's doing it because they desire to, for no other reason than they desire to do it.
Mm.
And the other person is doing it because they desire something else. And
Yes.
they're doing this thing in order to attain that something else.
Remember, wanting is not having, and therefore it's suffering. And people want and want and want and want and want and want. And want.
Mm. So there's karma involved in that wanting period, wanting process.
Yeah,
Yes,
there's an
because everything
exchange.
you need, you already have. Everything you want is simply to add on to your already complete self.
So not feeling complete is actually karmatic.
Absolutely. That where is the unconditional love for yourself, or the world itself, or life?
Mm. Wow. So if you're not practicing the highest virtue, then there's some kind of karma involved. Is that fair to say?
And that's why peace is up there with one of the higher virtues, because why? It's still. It's stillness. It's not creating any karma.
Mm. That's neat.
So I'd like
There's
to take the conversation to love, and
mm.
love is a choice versus an emotion or lust. Um, how do you explain the difference between loving as a feeling or like lust and love as a choice?
Well, this is a great question. What generally people experience with love as an experience is there's scientific backing to that, but as far as a choice, that's learn it through experience. Um, and the reason why love versus lust pretty much happens is because, well, the way it works from like, what people think they're experiencing love is actually more scientific. Not to be a nerd, but biologically, there is no such thing really as love. So what there is you when people get the sensation of falling in love is coming down to the old school traditions we have to taking on someone to a date on a date. And when you go on a date, you eat a dinner together. And then when you eat the same food as each other, you share the same bacteria as each other. And then those draw you to merge. Yeah. But that's not real love. That's why there's fights and things. People are
Mm.
not eating the same thing, breaking bread at the table together constantly. There's a problem between, especially a man and a woman. Let's say, um, you wouldn't want to kiss someone who had different bacteria than you. It just wouldn't be comfortable. So
You're
that's,
saying bacteria is communicating,
of course,
and when there's a miscommunication with the bacteria, then the heart and mind are affected of the
well, the people are
people.
not on the same wavelength anymore, and that same wavelength feels like love to the average person. They think that's love. Literally, no, when they start thinking about love in that kind of terms and it's not happening, this is where anger or fights or obsessions are born because the concept of love is that you're seeking that again. Basically, I need another date so we can eat the same meal together so we could be together again on the same page. That's
Mm.
like a fight for it. So people yearn it, that kind of love. But the choice kind, that's through experience because once this biological one breaks your heart, and you've had your heart broken, you have a choice to either be heartbroken and angry at the world and think it's always going to feel this way and be that way and never fall in love again, or or not even understand the concept of unconditional love whatsoever. Or you can actually learn from that and become unconditional love or fall in love again or not be angry forever. Does it make sense, gentlemen?
Oh, Scott's muted. Hold up.
Sorry,
Mr.
that was
Scott.
my fault.
No problem. Did you have something to add?
Yeah, so I was gonna say that so love as a choice is more akin to unconditional love, and love as an emotion or lust or chemical love is what we all start out with to learn about love as a choice.
Correct.
Hmm,
Okay.
Absolutely.
that's cool.
And how can love, rather than emotionality and lust, will like desires be more stable in a long-term relationship?
Well, you will be more understanding and compassionate and benevolent to your partner. I mean, if they're going through something, you can actually, instead of being selfish and self-centered and being bothered by it, be there to actually care and love, you know, support.
So this love unconditionally ends up being,
No judgments.
yeah, it ends up being so stable that there is nothing but choice that could destabilize it, correct?
Yeah,
Right. So there's no a chemical fluctuation that could, sabotage when you actually unconditionally love someone.
correct. Actually making the right chemicals in your whole entire being.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
Hmm.
when these other kind of thoughts and feelings they're not like that is when it creates these bad chemicals. Well, they're
So
not
what's an
bad,
Hmm.
but
easy
you know
way?
what I'm saying. It sets off the chemistry of the equilibrium in the natural
It
state of.
becomes opposing.
Yeah, correct. Self-imposed
Okay.
even through our own choices. I should say.
What's a good way to make love unconditional a daily practice?
That's a
Check
good
yourself
question.
before you wreck yourself.
How do you practice unconditional love? Chickadee check yourself. I like that.
So internal reflection and being honest with yourself is really the only way to get there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. It's the only way you also unconditionally love yourself. Otherwise, you always will be judging yourself for anything you can think of, or even if you don't want to or
So
feel
when people get into conflict or they're disappointed about something or they feel these things, how do they choose to love in those situations?
Good question too. 'Cause it's a tough situation when someone's being attacked, and to be able to show unconditional love in that moment, the natural feeling is to attack back or to win or something. So that's something that it's tough to get by. Sifu, what do you have to say about that?
well, it goes back to, like I said, that comes from experience. So if someone is raised, they were an experience for many years of their life, unconditional love, even if they lived in a loving and good family, simple family, but maybe there's just levels of it that are so deep, for some people, um, lack of that unconditional love, the touch and care, let's say from family members and stuff. Maybe, people like shake hands instead of hug. Even these things can, keep a distance and this. Like a lot of people will not experience it. So even if someone comes with them unconditional love, they don't know how to react to it until they get enough of it. They have to either they're raised understanding that in a certain way or figure it out over life eventually, or maybe never. But that's the only
Hmm,
difference. The only factor is that it hasn't been they had just never experienced it. It takes the experience to experience it to be able to do it yourself as well.
amazing.
It
And
has
so
to
there,
add up too. It's not going to happen over one night, just me and one person.
right.
Like it can even set people off because okay, you're being unconditional love. Like that's not what I want from you. I want you to be angry with me at whatever I'm angry at.
You
Hmm.
want some of that chemical romance.
Yeah, yeah.
Validate how I feel right now by getting angry
Romance
too.
or yeah, chemical romance. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a
I guess
guy
that
I
would be
go.
one of the most misunderstood ideas about love today
Hmm.
is that it's come to through choice and resolve responsibility. and experience, not chemical.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. There's something, that you get out of these kind of relationships. People are looking for that physical, um, they want to feel something constantly. So they'll fight just for no reason, just so that they can remember, like get some sort of feeling to kind of respark something, right? And that's just an energy exchange that I think people are missing out on. And because they're not getting the real good stuff, so they're on this lower vibration of exchanging energies. Whereas it could be a lot more, it's always going to be cyclical, but in a relationship, but there can be a lot more growing involved as opposed to growth and then crashing and then growth and then crashing. I think what Sifu said was about care. Um, people don't really put care into things that will help to build. They put care into things that give them the satisfaction for the moment, and then it's on to the next thing. So it's like we're moving too fast to experience unconditional love.
Yeah, I
But
would
how,
agree with
how
that.
Sifu, how would you say people are lacking in care? Like, and what can someone do to develop unconditional love, in terms of caring? Like, what did you mean by that?
Well, you guys want some kind of like technique for everyone here on the podcast? I give them something to work with. Okay, I tell you something. Uh, you need to develop attention span. People, attention span doesn't allow them to be able to concentrate enough to where they're actually themselves. So yeah, that you once you get find unconditional love, you need great powers of attention.
This kind of comes back to what we were talking about on the last podcast with attention, focus, and concentration, allowing you to have awareness. And with that
Mhm.
attention, focus, and concentration, you can also, with that awareness, make choices like unconditionally loving people.
Exactly.
So
So until you know thyself, is that what you're saying? You
Know
can't
thyself.
experience unconditional love.
Well, you don't want to be able to get to know yourself if you can't even use the facility of your concentration, mind, or focus. Your attention span sucks. Like, good luck trying to find your to know thyself. It will take forever, lifetimes.
Mm.
you
With
taught
that,
me a good exercise for building attention, focus, and concentration. And I mean, we talked about it in the last episode, um, focusing on one point and concentrating, putting your attention there and focusing. And the subtlety will bring you to awareness, which then allows you to, be present and make these choices. Is that correct?
yes.
All right. So, what about like kindness versus goodness, and what implications does that have on morality versus being nice?
Okay. Kindness and niceness in the ordinary person in this modern day society or all. I mean, okay, let's just say keep it simple. The basic Joe Schmo is it seemed like you're gonna get something by being kind and you're gonna get something by being nice. If
Mm.
I'm nice, then I can get something, get what I want, or avoid what I don't want, or get by something I like to not have to deal with. Get somewhere where I think it will take me there if I do it. And yeah, Being kind too. Hey, I have given so much kindness now, like someone owes me kindness back. That person owes me the amount of kindness I've given them. They owe that kindness, that amount of kindness back to me. I've acquired something. I have this, I have this, I have that person, I got this person, I got this, I done this, I done that.
And how
That
does that
makes
relate
sense.
to goodness, though? Like, I see that
Well,
the
goodness
kindness
is
in
not
that.
doing that. That's all there is. Goodness is that. That's it. You do the goodness, then you actually will be actually kind and giving.
I
And
think what he's saying is do the right thing just simply for that reason, because it is the right thing to do, not seeking reward, recognition, not looking for gratification or praise. Um, just, I mean, we're all human. We all have hearts, and within a situation, you can know if I say this, that could hurt that person, so I won't say that. Or, if I react in this way, I'm aware of how my emotions are and how that person's emotions could feel if I were to react in a startling way. They're not going to take it well. So it's like I'm not going to do that. But so that's, I think, in a way, not looking for to win. It's there's a sense of rivalry,
this
I
is
think.
the way the world works, but that's not the way life
It's
works.
very, yeah. Like to get by, to
It's
get
not the way
like
the world works. It's not the way the world works. Like
well,
the
the world
real,
works off of rivalry. You're right.
yeah. So
And
that's what people are doing, but that's not the way. That's why it never works for them. They're always having to always be selfish in this world.
this tit for tat thing, you're going back to it again, right?
Well, some people like to call this dialectics, and that's like one of the like biggest cages I've ever seen.
Hmm. If I do this, then this happens, or if I do this, I get that.
Like that's not a rule that everyone thinks it is. I mean, there are other laws out there and systems in place.
What's the difference between being kind and being good?
It's like a genuine kindness and a genuine goodness, then a genuine kindness, is like a giving a gentle, warming touch and of care. And goodness is not overlooking anything that you could do good. Like even if it's as simple as, oh, I see that piece of paper that's on the floor, I should pick it up instead of just walking by and ignoring it, and throw it in the
So,
trash.
for instance,
Hmm.
with an unruly child that's getting into things that they shouldn't, maybe starting fires or whatever, being kind to them might not be the right thing to do. That wouldn't be a good thing to do because they will continue to create fires and be
You see,
destructive.
try to break things down like this.
Mhm.
The only answer goes back to you need unconditional love for the right answer. Because remember, once you have unconditional love, then all those things, they're the real versions of them. So that means they're all the same thing. Like, but when there's not that unconditional love, and it's just like love, this going down to kindness, goodness, like they're all just going down the scale. There's no really good quality about any of them when it's that way. There's always going to be a problem, no matter
Hmm.
how ideological you want to think this is. Hey, I'm doing a good thing by being kind, like 'cause you don't know how to be kind. Even if you think you're being kind, you're not being kind. You think
Well, there
that's
seems to be some self-satisfying thing that's
it's just a
happening.
lack of unconditional love.
Hmm.
You
Without
cannot you
unconditional
can't
love,
have
yeah.
any of those beautiful virtues things actually be generally what they are if there's no unconditional love. It literally
Hmm.
starts from unconditional love. That's it. There,
So you're saying you can't truly be kind.
yeah, you cannot truly be kind unless you have unconditional love.
Hmm. Wow. there's some self-serving part
You
of you
cannot
that's
be
always going
you
to be
cannot be
underlying.
truly
I
good
think
unless you
that's,
have unconditional love.
huh. Again,
Well,
so we're being good to self-serve. Is that what you're trying to say? We're being kind as a self-serving way.
It's,
Is
it's
that what's happening?
that it's that people don't know what they're doing, so they just trying their best to do what they've been taught to do. And a lot of everyone's experiences are different, and a lot of people are taught different things. So um, it makes it very difficult for one to make their way in the world. You know,
Hmm.
it's
would
hard
you
to teach people. Huh?
would you say kindness can become unhealthy or unbalanced?
Of course, the way it is in the secular world, of course.
Okay. So you're saying that kindness within unconditional love can never be anything but good. However, being kind for, say, virtue signals or for favor or for, whatever reason that's not in unconditional love, that can be unhealthy, unbalanced, and outside of goodness.
Yeah, exactly. Even if it's very gentle or very harsh, it just will be off balance regardless, even if the tiniest bit, you know?
So even so, like the father who must discipline the son so that he does not burn down the house is actually being kind and unconditionally loving in disciplining his child so that he doesn't kill himself and his family.
Yes, in the old days they would agree with that.
Would they
But
not
that would
agree?
but today you cannot do this. You
Well, that's arguable, but I mean, if you don't discipline your kid and he burns the house down, I mean that's arguably much worse.
How how you discipline can be, you know,
Well, if it's within
a
unconditional
problem.
love, it's being kind and good, but at the same time, you are disciplining the child, right?
But you're not going to cut off his hand for wanting to start a fire.
Would you do that to anything you love? Would you maim it?
Of course not.
No. If you
But in
must,
the name,
if you, if you must, use the rod, may it be that of a shoelace, right?
right.
It's okay. You can spank your child all you want to get them to do the right thing, just but you don't need to cut their hand off.
No, nothing that causes permanent damage. That's not out of
I mean,
Okay,
unconditional love.
it's like this. Like, okay, if you had a plant, right? And you want it to grow better, you can pinch it a little bit, not break off its things like its leaves or stem, but you can pinch it and they'll get stronger, for example. A body, yourself as a martial artist, you can bang yourself with sticks and your bones get stronger and you can handle. So it's like conditioning. It's just called conditioning. And conditioning also falls under unconditional love.
Hmm.
Conditioning yourself and conditioning our race or what you want to call it, our species. It's part of our nature of survival. When we
Now
start,
we're
we as civilization don't want conditioning anymore. That's why we've built
uh
nice, cozy homes for ourselves. And I mean, everyone is seeking comfort. This goes back to like the last talk.
hmm.
so how do you think
Well,
that
we're
culture
conditioned to
and
believe. Oh, I'm sorry. We're conditioned to believe that when we get something for the work that we do, that's good. We're conditioned to believe that, you know, getting a promotion in the job is good. But, the way you get the promotion, come on, how about that? Like, are you gonna undermine some principles to make someone else look bad so you get the job? And that's not good. But I guess the way we're conditioned to believe is that, if we get more money and we're doing good. And
it's
if we're
funny that
not
you
getting the
brought that
money,
up.
no.
The next thing I was just about to say was how does culture and upbringing shape our ideas of kindness and goodness?
Oh, well, there
and
you
that's work
go.
culture. So
Well,
it fits
Reza
right
was
in.
actually bringing up something that would be kind of old school sounding to people too, but he was talking earlier about, raising up with like the traditional values of the wife stays at home, cooks and cleans while the man goes to work and does all the other chores,
Mm,
necessary to make that possible for her to be there and do that. Like,
Hmm.
and like we've lost that in this day and age, and it's even frowned upon, But there's I'm not saying agreeing with it or disagreeing with the way it was then or the way it is today. I'm just stating facts. It's just that way. So, but at the end of the day, this is where choice really matters because those things really don't matter. Whether people will fight over these things, which way is right or wrong. But that's see again,
mm,
there's nothing to fight over. It's either you have a choice whether you want to do that or not. You can go do it. If you want to be a housewife, be a housewife. You don't want to be a housewife, don't be a housewife. You know, no one's forcing anyone or putting a gun in the head and telling them who or how they have to be. They only just go off on what they've been experienced and exposed to. So
mm,
that's in a way why choices seem hard to make because there's so many of them to make. Where do you start? And it's like having like a menu of food and you can't decide which one to eat. And it's the first time you're seeing all these options too. There's so many options. You don't even understand what they're even talking about half the time. Maybe sometimes they even use another language. Like I can't even read. What is that? I mean,
Right
so
when you think you're about to make your choice, they pull the menu. Oh, sorry, next menu.
yeah, what?
It's not
So that's why
lunchtime
people.
anymore.
So because there's so many choices to make and nobody knows what choices to make, they're always thinking something. It's never good enough. They're always wanting something more. Because if there's already that many choices, like why can't there be like that many more choices? And then why can't there be that many more choices? Like, and I don't know all the choices, so everyone has to go through experience. They have to make their choices, experience them, learn from them to be able to make more choices.
mm.
They can go any path they want, good or bad, if you want to call it that way. It's not really relevant, but yeah, I mean, it's just the way that the mechanism works. Uh, how do we start making good choices over bad ones? Set an example by doing it yourself. Let it rub off on others. It's the best you can really do.
You're counting on the ripple effect of people determining for themselves to make choices and learn and experience, and then
Yeah.
that will
Yeah.
then
I would say that's part of evolution, man. You know.
Monkey see, monkey do.
Yes.
Well, we learn from watching. Our nervous systems learn whether, we're paying attention or not. We're all connected, so that makes sense. One person starts doing the right thing, then, another person will too. And then maybe another within their circle will. And then, yeah,
Yeah, we
that's just
still,
how it
I do
works.
believe in that rule of 6 degrees of separation. How else do you think I've done all these adventurous things in my life, that, ones can only dream of? Because, it's not that, we're not, it's a small world, very small world.
Yeah, well, you didn't really chase anything other than the things that you wanted. That was probably why you got there. If money was at all number one, then you wouldn't have got what you got, Or if having a wife and kids was number one, then, of course, you wouldn't have been able to make music with, you know, your idols or, you know, be able to make video games with the companies that, made your favorite childhood games. That's for sure. So you had to be single-minded, kind of single-focused, right? And was that because you had unconditional love for for the arts, or what would you say got you to be able to do all the things that you wanted?
No, man. Everyone can do everything they want. It's just s- choices, man. Scott, you can help me answer. This is Scott, help me out here. Huh?
Well, in general, whatever you're focused on, wherever your attention is and you're concentrated on, energy is going to go there. And when a critical mass of energy is like built up, there's no choice but for that energy to attract what it is it's pulling on. And the amount of focus and concentration you put in directly correlates to how strongly or how magnetically the thing that you're trying to do comes. And as you devote more and more time and energy to this focus, concentration, your awareness expands. You become aware of what's necessary, you see opportunities, and then you make it happen. It's just a matter of choice. You have to choose to do it. You have to choose to be focused and concentrated and disciplined in that. And eventually, you will see the opportunity arise and you will take it.
Wow, well said.
Yeah, Reza, help me out here. Tell, tell me, tell me what you think it is from your perspective, please.
In terms of getting uh, single-minded, single-focused, and allowing something
Yeah,
to grow.
because you have a lot of experience with coaching people, working with people. You've also developed your body, to be quite strong and disciplined in that kind of way. So like what, in a practical, see, Scott was really a nice advanced level. Let me hear you tell us the actual, like, secular world version of it, from the ordinary person's perspective.
Oh, okay. Like, sure, for when I wanted to get stronger, you know, I had to be very focused on that one thing. So every morning, would be catered towards the goal to be stronger because everyone around me was bigger, taller, stronger, faster than me. And in the sport I wanted to compete in, which was basketball, I had to I thought that I had to be as big, as strong as them because I couldn't grow and be taller. So at least I needed the speed and the strength and all that. So um, I thought I had to work harder than everybody else. So while they're, sleeping in, I'm up eating, getting some food, some calories in so I can go work out. And then I go work out first thing before I have to go, to class or school or work. And then, when I'm off of work, well, everyone's going to go and hang out and party or whatever, play games. Uh, First thing I'm thinking, I got to get some food so I can go to the gym and, get strong. So I'll go work out and then play basketball for 3, 4 hours after working out for 2 hours. And then by the time everyone's off of work themselves, because I got off earlier, I was just coaching, so I had different hours. When my friends would get off around 5, 6, 7 p.m., then they want to go to the gym, and by then I came home and ate already, and I go to the gym with them, and then I'll go work out again or play more sports or whatever. And so I'm getting three times in and out, and so but I'm that's all I'm focusing on, and that's all I wanted to do because I wanted to be able to compete with these taller, more athletic people. And yeah, eventually, I was able to bench press 300 some pounds. I'm only 5'7", weighed 165. I could squat a lot and deadlift a lot, but most of all, I could just do what I loved, which is be able to bang with the big guys and 6'5" people that weighed 250. I could push them around and score on them at will. And that was my goal. But I wanted to go to the NBA or something, or play in college, but it wasn't my main focus. But that's probably why I never got it. My main focus was just to be able to get to the level where I can compete. And so I did get to that point, or I joined some summer leagues and was able to score like 30, 40 points in a game and stuff. But and you know, I was really strong. But again, yeah, that's what it took. As I had to have one main goal, although yes, I wanted to party. Yes, I wanted to, you know, still have fun and play games. I did that, but that would always be after, never in between. It was those were had to come last.
Very good. So, the ultimate like key to all this stuff is being genuine, whether it's from the high level or lower. So that comes to also from back to unconditional love. But yeah, being genuine resonates with people, period. And you want goodness, it's unconditional love. You'll be genuine, so everything you do will be genuinely out of unconditional love, and that's a beautiful thing because that's a celebration. And if it's not that way, then well, it's not really much of a celebration now, is it? And it's like maybe just a narrow focused love or an obsession, so or what people think is love, and when it's because it's conditional and they're taught that, tit for tat, conditional love is the way to go to be small. You see?
That's a good point. People thought I was obsessed with my body, but I wasn't. I was obsessed with being able to play basketball and not look like an idiot and be able to like, you know, be one of the best on the court.
And that goes
Um,
back to still wanting, because when you
mhm.
are unconditionally loved, there is no more wants, remember? There is no more needs. All the needs are
Mm.
met. If you want, then you know what you're doing. You're going to add on to it. So you'd realize you're going to put yourself to go to get some karma to 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 obtain that virtue you want. But you can
Well,
accomplish that
ultimately,
knowingly going into it. But if you're doing it unknowingly, like the most people knowing not what they do, then they
mhm.
wonder why it's a big psychic baggage all the time. What we call, baggage. Sorry, I mean, but,
Well, the
why
karma builds up
karma
as
builds up. They
as
don't know.
as
They,
little
they
as it
think they're
is. Yeah.
they think they're accumulating virtue while they're constantly actually accumulating more karma for themselves.
Mhm.
Huh.
Well, by society standards, I was doing great. I was doing really good, you know, getting
Well,
strong and
it's
being
like
able to
Lewis
do
said earlier
these.
today. Hospitals don't want to give you that test to tell you what you're deficient in because it wouldn't bring in good customers. They need sick people.
Yeah. And so eventually I got sick everywhere,
I'm not a
entire
conspiracy
body.
theorist or anything. I'm just saying.
Well,
It's
that's
just
true. It's just,
people. It's the you say competitive nature earlier. This is why the heart mind nature is off with that's why unconditional love is so unfamiliar because no one practices it really. I mean, the only guys you see who are trying to figure it out and practice it and read every day and chant and do vigorous hard exercises and stuff to themselves or rituals or these people in the temples. They're working so hard to figure this out. I want to in this lifetime figure out unconditional love.
well, they're very dedicated to that cause. So,
They are.
you know,
And they want to get it down in this lifetime.
yeah,
One life they
which
know they
is
have right now.
that's pretty commendable, you know. I mean, but living in our society where we live, you know, we can't just go away. I tried that. I tried it. Remember, I went away to Florida for months and I tried to get away. I was like, forget sports and basketball and lifting weights. I'm just gonna try to, you know, cultivate and do cultivation exercises. And, you know, yeah, when I came back, everyone's like, whoa, you seem to be glow. You have this aura that looks glowing. And, you know, I felt like I had tangible energy was tangible and I had tangible energy as well that I could project and feel and understand. But at the same time, it was almost just like a quick fix. All of a sudden, you know, I'm super healthy for 3 months after, but then go right back into society's, you know, the standards of living and just got sick again, you know. So, I mean, not sick, but weak. And before that, you know, it started with being very, very sick. And so, you know, going by what's standards of society, you'll think you're doing the right thing, and then down the road you realize, oh my gosh, there's so many things I wish I'd done differently. Like even to this very day, there's um, Kellogg's and Mars and Coca-Cola and Pepsi. They're finally being sued by the government for all the tactics and things that they put out there in terms of consumption for people. And we thought we were doing good having a Coca-Cola with our friends. But little do we know, we're not taking care of our temple by pounding glasses of Coke every night with dinner.
Yeah, I think
That's just a small
dishonesty
example.
is a big part of what keeps us away from um, love as a choice or unconditional love and being genuine. And I think that honesty is one of the things that can lead us back to those things as well.
Mm.
Yeah, being truthful is good. You know, because these kind of this kind of stuff in a day-to-day life, like, being truthful and honest is very difficult. Well, it's hard for a person if they're not feeling well to not like that. You don't want to hurt someone else's feelings, so they're like, "Hey, how's it going?" You say good, even though if you feel terrible. So people are trying to do good, and that's the way they try to do good by doing things like that. They think they're doing something good by saying things that other people want to hear to make not hard on themselves or other people. It's like they think they're doing something good, but see, that's going back to chasing comfort, and that becomes really uncomfortable really fast.
I agree
Well,
with that
being
100%.
cordial. People want to be cordial and, you know, and get on with what is going on in their life. I think it becomes, everyone's got to look out for number one. So what's going on in their mind and emotion is most important. So even when they ask you how you're doing, it's just so that they can get on with saying what they need to say or do what they need to do. So it's not very sincere. I think sincerity is what you're getting at as well when you're
No,
saying
yeah,
truthful,
I mean, again, sincerity is being genuine. Like,
genuine, right?
yeah, like genuinely ask that question if you truly mean it. But and it's not helpful for you to worry or concern, over a lot of things that people think that are going through the right motions as they do, because that takes so much effort for them. So it's like climbing a ladder for them, like for one little thing. So when they do that, they feel exhausted. It's like climbing up a flight of stairs, but like I did all this, I went through all the steps.
Mm.
And so
So
there's
you
no
see
real,
somebody,
yeah, you don't actually get it, like the genuine person, and they're not even like in the state to even be sincere with anything.
mm. So by showing concern, you're saying if someone's not doing well and you're like, oh my God, oh, that's so sad. That's actually what? Karmatic?
No, that's not what I was talking about specifically. That's not what I was trying to go. And we could talk about that kind of stuff later.
Okay.
It's a whole different subject matter.
Mm. In
He's
terms of,
talking about it from the other perspective. Like somebody's like, "Hey, how are you doing?" And you're just like, "Oh, I'm fine," but you actually like broke your hand earlier that day and you're in excruciating pain, feel like you're gonna
gotcha.
vomit. You know,
And holding back, not saying anything.
And that is
exactly.
good. That is good because that is that's like the most basic version that the universe tries to cultivate you. And if you can at least do that on this like secular world level, then you won't get eliminated so fast. But you still have it's arduous to cultivate. It's very difficult. So to gain higher levels, like one must push through. You know, uh,
Hmm.
yeah. So that's where it's hard because People are doing the best they can do without having to do more.
So are you trying to say that if you do have a problem and someone asks you how you're doing, it's better to not be truthful? I mean, it's I guess by saying
No,
it's all
no,
good or
no,
Mm.
no, no, no.
it's not lying, but
If someone being genuine, if you, like I said, if you genuinely care, you will call and ask and be sincere,
hmm
not going through the motions just because, oh yeah, that makes me. I heard this person say I should. It'll be make me look good if I call them like, yeah, yeah, hey, how's it going? Really good. Okay, like that. See, people go through those motions thinking they're doing the right thing. They like to
mm,
get these opportunities when they can sometimes, or when they're depressed, they avoid it from other people. But, but in general, people are going through emotions. You catch me?
yeah,
So where's the being genuine? Where is the sincerity? That's what I'm saying. If you
mm,
genuinely,
they're lacking. Yeah.
yeah, so this is the different subject. I'm just saying, like, if we're talking about funerals or people dying on their deathbed, like, you could either hurt or help them. Yes, but I mean, either help them by being genuine and sincere, or go through the motions, and that doesn't help them or yourself.
Okay.
Being honest is paramount, is really the point.
Most people are not even honest with themselves all day. What is all this camouflage we're wearing all the time with clothes? I'm just kidding. Well, especially let's say like women, not to point you girls out, but you guys all know you're lying to yourself by putting up makeup on every day. So that's it, you know, and all these bros, when I go get some cool ass cars and hats and bling blings and all this kind of stuff. I mean, what is this?
Meanwhile, they're living in their mother's basement.
Oh yeah, sometimes. Like, I'm not. We're not making jokes or like laughing at people or judging anyone. But
That was a joke, but I was just being funny.
Not
so
making fun of anyone. I know.
no, because this really is what it is. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
That's what you want. And that's what you want. Like who's to say otherwise?
Yeah. Well said.
My question is always just to people: what do you want? What do you really want?
Yeah. I think we talked
Do
about
you
that
know
last
what you
podcast.
really, really, really want?
Yeah. No one really knows what they want. So, you know, they don't know what they desire, I think. And, they want everything, but, or a lot of things, just they don't know what it is that they truly desire.
Yeah, once you know what you want, then you can make the choice.
All right. So we basically made a full circle. We started up here, unconditional love, right? And last week, what did we talk about? Want and desire, as if we don't have unconditional love, right? Because we're still wanting things. So we're coming from a point of being incomplete. So you can't experience unconditional love. So hmm, that's interesting. Um, Scott, what else along the virtues do you have for Sifu? I know we went with the highest virtue. Um, did you want to take that to another step or go into any other virtues?
Well, when you're talking about virtues, and once you identify responsibility and unconditional love as being the top of the pyramid, you really, all other virtues descend from that foundation. So, say that's pretty well covered. I mean, you could ask like which virtues improve relationships the most. The answer would be responsibility and love. You could
Hmm.
say which virtues could protect me in through difficult times when I have hardship. Well, responsibility and unconditional love is going to be the root of all of that. So I think we kind of really pushed out the virtues with that question.
Hmm.
Um, if we want to talk about something else, I mean, we could go back to awareness, or we could go back to attention, focus, and concentration. Um, but yeah, for the next podcast, I was thinking we might dip our toes into the heart, mind, nature, and morality. Um, maybe piety versus
That sounds good.
wisdom. You know,
Okay,
but I
Yeah,
think we
I'm,
kind
I'm
of
cool with that.
yeah, I think we
great.
kind of ran through this train of thought pretty well here.
Yeah, it seems to be pretty covered.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, thank you, Sifu. I think with if it comes down to it, practicality of how to experience and how to show unconditional love, how to practice it, that's always been a question, I think, because everyone thinks they're doing it already. So I guess to sum it up, um, for those of you that, now have an awareness that, okay, maybe there's more to this unconditional love thing, what kind of advice would you give to them to practice unconditional love, Sifu?
Wait, not next time. Right now, I'll just tell you. This is simple things, man. You start with yourself. Unconditionally love yourself. And what do? Take care of yourself. Take care of your temple. What do? Take your shower. Get your good sleep. Eat your good food.
Hmm.
Stay hydrated. Go
Good food by going out to eat, or you have to make your own food? What do you mean, good food?
make your own food, of course.
Hmm.
And then we got to build our attention, focus, and concentration so that we can have better awareness, right?
Yeah, for awareness. Yeah.
In
Aware-
terms of exercise, should I go to the gym and go lift weights? Is that going to be good enough?
If you have good concentration, yes, that's a good question. Yeah, if you have bad concentration, you're not gonna gain much. You'll get 10% of the benefits to your body, blood, and brain without proper concentration.
Would you say
Uh,
that focus and concentration is more of a mental exercise than a physical one?
and it helps you do the physical ones the right way. It's
Hmm.
kind of like how posture physically is a foundation. Well, that is the foundation for our mind facilities.
Hmm. Oh, I got another example. When I was at the gym, I would be there focused only on, right, like on the lifting the weights and breathing and making sure I'm resting each set. After one set, I'd take deep breaths and, get rid of the tension and move on to the next set. And I do repetition after repetition and work different muscle groups. But then I'd see people in there watching TV, talking with friends, looking at each other's phones and stuff. And, they didn't get the same results. So I guess like, it took a level of concentration and focus in order to get the results, for the desires, the wants, and all those things. And for those that don't have that concentration and focus, it takes a lot more, you know, work. I mean, it took years and years for them to see what I would get within a month or something like that. So that does make sense.
Yeah, I think a lot of people go to places like the gym where most people are training their focus and concentration on their bodies, and they're there for social reasons.
Mm,
I
yeah.
think that's why you would see that a lot.
I think Sifu has something to say too.
Oh yeah, this is a case because a lot of people lack self-confidence. So when they're going to the gym and trying to do this, they're not really building real strength. They're just a self-affirming themselves to get rid of that lack of self lack of self-confidence. Gain some confidence. When you exercise, you're going to get more confidence, yeah. So
Yeah. It's I guess it's like, is that a psychological thing, or is it like, is there science behind that?
that's science and psychology, everything. That's why they look in the mirror and check it
Okay.
out. I want to be good looking for the girl. I feel inferior. It's a lack of confidence. You're
Mm.
afraid what, you know, I don't mind the sun sometimes, as it shows. You never know just how you look. Wait, was it? Forget through other people's eyes. People are always afraid how you going to look through other people's eyes. Yeah.
Uh,
And so they lack self-confidence. Huh.
mm.
But yeah, sorry. Softly
No, that's
spoken
good.
eyes. You never know just how you look through other people's eyes. Yeah. So like,
Mm.
you know, exercise, you see yourself in the mirror, you make these improvements, you feel confident again. You're
Mm. That's
liking,
pretty
liking.
simple.
Yeah. And it's hard because 50-50 people make choice because they can look and be uncomfortable in the mirror and then they don't want to even go, they don't want to look in the mirror anymore. Like Mia's, go away.
I don't want to see myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one way or the other.
What, don't want to go to the gym or anything.
Mm. Yeah.
And what I was saying is like that's just how people are. We're very simple. So it's just lack of confidence. Why I think the root of all lack of confidence, where it comes from, goes back to not experiencing what, guys? Unconditional
Unconditional
love.
love.
Because how else can you trust this universe that you're living in if you don't have unconditional, if you don't see the universe having unconditional love for you?
Mm.
If you think you're all out here on your own, that's really hard. But you're
Mm.
not. And that's what people forget.
Wow. Yeah, that's another topic, separation and unity. Um, would you say that it's through this unconditional love, it allows people to, if you experience it, it allows you to be confident then within yourself?
Yeah, because when you're your true self, your true self, your original nature. Like I said, the universe is unconditional love. We're born in this unconditional love of the universe. We're just like little bad children.
That's interesting. We're born out of unconditional love, and that's literally how we're concepted through the universe. I like that. And so our true nature is unconditional love. And when we're able to practice that and at least experience it, then we're able to grow. That makes sense. We don't have lack of confidence. We don't have lack of imperfection. So would you say that seeing everything as it is perfect as it is would help us to or see the perfection that lies within all things? Would that help us to grow this unconditional love within ourselves?
If everyone is striving for what they would think, the way they would think what beauty is beauty and ugly is ugly, they will never get it right because it's the differences that make things beautiful.
I've heard that. It's true. So our perception, is based off of conditioning, and I
And
guess it's just a matter of awareness.
if everything became beautiful, how is beautiful even beautiful anymore? How would you even know it's beautiful anymore?
You're right. Everything just would be as blank as this towel.
How perfect is perfect? A square, straight lines, linear. Does it make it right? No, it's
Hmm.
just good math, I guess. Nah, not really. I'm just playing around, guys.
Well, listen,
I'm just
at
messing
the
around. I'm just messing
in
around.
the eyes of our family, when we're young, we're perfect, right? Your mother, your father, some those that only see the good things, not you crying and yelling, being annoying. They'll see you as perfect. So that helps to build our confidence when we're around people like that. But I think you know, the more that concept becomes changed is just being around people that judge. So judgment is something that we gotta really not seek from others because oftentimes wanting to be accepted or seen in a certain light can cause a lot of doubt.
Perpetuating judgment. I want you to judge me. I'm wondering what they're judging me about. And
Oh man, yeah.
hey, they might not even be thinking about you. You say talk to someone and then say, hey, and then you think to yourself, I wonder what they're thinking right now. Well, now you're
Oh,
consumed.
The difference
Look,
that's
between making a friend and an enemy in a person.
well. All right, guys. I don't want to take more of your time.
yeah, that's true, Scott. That's how it starts. Okay,
You're
what?
right. I think we got to end it because it's been over an hour, and I think my phone's gonna die too. So once that does, the meeting's probably gonna be over. But anyway, just to close things, unconditional love, top of the pyramid, being responsible. Um, Anything else you wanted to add to it, Scott?
Um, yeah, I mean, responsibility really is the key of the virtue pyramid. You can tackle responsibility, you're going to be able to tackle all the rest of the virtues as well. Um, you know, we talked about love as choice versus emotional love or lust or chemical love or however you want to put it. Um, you know, as far as love as a choice is concerned, unconditional love and love as a choice is pretty synonymous. You get there through experience and learning, and it's not something that's really innate to the human uh, condition or body. Something that you have to kind of discover as you go, unless it's taught to you. And caring has a lot to do with attention, focus, and concentration. Um, Care in general is very important to people, and they don't do it enough. They don't put care into themselves first and foremost, which kind of comes back to the unconditional love thing. And being your authentic self, being genuine, that all leads back to honesty. If we are being dishonest in our day-to-day lives, in subconsciously or consciously, that's going to keep us from being genuine. And if we can't be genuine and we don't honestly understand ourselves because we don't walk in that path, it's going to be really hard to be unconditionally loving to yourself and therefore other people.
Very well said, brother. Thank you, Reza, too. I don't know. I think his phone might have dropped off. I think he might.
Oh, okay, yeah, for sure. All right, buddy. I love you. It was a good meeting.